Okay, chickens, this video is about decorating your pinch pots. The first thing I did was divide up the space into 4 quadrants. I was thinking about the membranes bowls that we did and how they divide their bowls into 4 quadrants. I like to use a pencil and just sort of lightly draw on the surface of the clay when I'm planning out what I'm going to do. It's easy to kind of smudge it over if you make a mistake, just drawing lightly here. Feeling inspired by membranes designs, but also the Zentangles. So I'm breaking up the space of this cup into different triangles, and then I was going to break up those triangles even further. Once you've kind of made up your mind, I'm starting to use the needle tools, whether that be your fork that you broke up into a little pokey bit or the paper clip, and now I'm going to start kind of carving in those lines that I drew out in pencil. You want to work on this piece and this carving when it's leather hard, sort of in between wet and dry. Not soaking wet, but not bone dry. Wanted a membranes design, but I got pizza slices. Okay, pay attention now. This is the coolest use of a paper clip you'll ever see. I'm using the loop side of the paper clip on an angle to gently carve around those lines that I drew in. And this is my favorite, like, little improvisational tool. Now see how this comes off in a ribbon? That's how we know we're a perfect leather hard state of the clay. Don't be carving too hard now. We don't want to put a hole in the side of our cup. My thinking here is I'm going to carve around the outside of these quote-unquote pizzas and have them sort of stand out as a little textural element that you can touch on the outside of the cup, but also be a graphic element that you can look at. Okay, to carve and smooth around the outside of the pizzas, I use a combination of the serrated plastic knife with the loop tool slash paper clip. And so you can see me here kind of carving and scraping from different angles, different directions with the serrated part of the knife, and then kind of compressing and smoothing with the smooth end of the knife. So combination of those two tools here to get that smoothness on the outside. So once I'm satisfied with my carving, I'm going to do some additional smoothing using the scratchy Brillo side of my sponge here, like a kitchen sponge. But the sponge is not wet. The sponge is dry. And so I'm kind of using that to sort of like a gentle sandpaper to kind of sand and smooth some more. For final finishing, you could add a little water to the sponge and use the soft side, but that's at the very, very end. The last resort is, so I'm not using any water right now. Oh boy, this is for you people who love things to be uber smooth. It's a technique called burnishing. And in this technique, you use the back of a plastic spoon and you're going to compress the leather hard clay. And what that does is it presses all the little rough groggy bits down into the clay, and the soft smooth clay gets extra shiny and extra smooth on top. You could use a combination of the plastic spoon and even your plastic bag as a tool to smooth your piece until you get a high gloss finish. Okay, for this last technique, this is another one of my all-time favorites. It's using your dry toothbrush to brush out any little boogers or burrs that you get just from carving using like the needle tools. Is like these little boogers, you'll see them start to accumulate in the lines, and the best tool I've ever found for getting those out is the nice dry toothbrush. Just kind of brush them out. So I inadvertently ended up with a real cheese pizza look here from this cup. I wanted to have kind of a southwestern feel, but you never know what you're going to get. I actually kind of like it. It's fun. Okay, this is important. You need to sign your foot. I like to use a pencil, and I actually carve with the pencil your name, and also be sure and add 2020 to the bottom of your cup. It needs to be clearly legible so that we can find your specific cup when this is all said and done. So my wish for all of you is that you make something beautiful and functional, a really gorgeous activated surface on your cup and a clearly legible name, a nice good rim to drink off of with a nice handle, a beautiful mug. And you're going to want to put it back in your plastic bag and keep it nice and sealed up tight for as long as possible. We want it to dry very slowly.